So we went from days away to the NFL draft to just hours away from the first overall pick in Cleveland later tonight. Since last year's all-virtual draft, we've assumed that Trevor Lawrence would be the one taken first overall. And since the end of last season when the Jags got the top pick, it has been Lawrence to Jacksonville. So if it plays out like we all think it will, Clemson quarterback would make it 4 straight times a quarterback who's been taken first overall 6 out of the last 7. The Browns took Myles Garrett with the top pick in 2017, and this year's draft set up to be quarterback heavy. We're almost guaranteed to see 5 quarterbacks taken in the first round, and they could all be snatched up in the top 15. All right, with more on that, let's bring in our NFL insider, Jason Canfora. So, Jason, when we talk about obviously 1, 2, and 3, we think 3 quarterbacks will be taken there, Trevor Lawrence, Zach Wilson, and any combination of Mac Jones, Trey Lance, and Justin Fields. But there is an opportunity, sort of that 7, 8, 9, 10 slot for teams like maybe the Patriots and Bears to trade up. What are you hearing there, and what do you think about that?
Yeah, there's been a lot of conversation, which is natural for this time of year, but New England is definitely exploring at which price point, what do we have to pay, what's it going to cost us to potentially move into that range. The Bears are doing the same thing. I'm not sure that the Bears have the same wherewithal that Bill Belichick does, where, you know, he and Robert Kraft are simpatico. The Bears and how they've mismanaged the quarterback position, you know, they're going to have to get a sign-off from ownership if they actually do come up with a possibility that GM Ryan Pace thinks is the way to go. I think one of those teams will pull it off. I think it's New England. Could it be a little bit lower? Yeah. Heck, I think they both could pull it off, not necessarily in the top 10, but if one of these 5 quarterbacks slips beyond the 10 spot, we could have a trade in the teens as well. But yes, a lot of conversations going on right now. There are teams picking in the top 10 who, while they know they could get a very good football player if they stay there, are trying to fill multiple holes. And if there's a move up, it's most likely for a quarterback, but it could be for a receiver. It could even be for a corner as well.
Our colleague Ryan Wilson, his latest and final mock, has New England trading up to 8 with Carolina to take Justin Fields there on CBSSports.com. Let's talk about Teddy Bridgewater and the trade impact there on the Broncos and Panthers draft plans. You called it a couple days ago and been reporting on it for a while with the reunion of George Paton and Teddy Bridgewater. What's the impact for both Denver and Carolina now heading into tonight and the draft there, Jason?
Well, I mean, for Carolina, I mean, they shed a little bit of salary, but they're also eating a fair amount of salary to facilitate this. So it's just a matter of really in Carolina getting whatever you can in a salary dump for a player who had no road to play there with Sam Darnold there. Look, there's a chance Carolina stays at 8 and takes a quarterback. I mean, it's not out of the realm of possibility whatsoever. And that, you know, Bridgewater to Denver, what does that do for Denver? Well, this new regime is far from sold on Drew Lock for good reason. So they have now someone on their roster who has, at points in his life, played the quarterback position at a high level in the NFL, who's taken a team to the playoffs as a rookie. They had a really good defense. They could do a lot of things in Minnesota. Well, guess what? That's the same kind of thing Vic Fangio and George Paton are trying to build in Denver. So it relieves that immediate need. It gives them their caretaker. I don't think they were ever trading up for a quarterback, so I don't think it mitigates that one way or the other. Could they take a quarterback at 9? They could, but they have an NFL quarterback now, which they weren't sold that they had yesterday. So they could also be sitting there at 9 with a defensive-minded head coach, with a defense that could be great, and have the ability to take any defensive player they want in this draft. It is certainly conceivable the first 8 picks are on the offensive side of the ball. So I think at the end of the day, that's going to have a lot of allure to them. I think you're looking at Micah Parsons. You're looking at one of those corners. If they have a consensus, this is the best defensive player in the draft, and we can get him at 9, and we're a defensive-minded team, I think that's what they're doing.
All right, let's look at Denver. By the way, to button up Carolina, looks like they're exercising the 5th-year option on DJ Moore, the wide receiver there. Let's end with the Jets and Jags, who obviously have the top 2 picks, but they also have 2 between them, second-round, sort of first-round selections. There are 2 of them, I should say. So when you look at both teams, how do they address outside of the quarterback late in that first round?
Jets have been looking for a pass rusher forever. The question is, this is not a great pass rush draft. It's not a great high-end pass rush draft. And who's sitting there when they come up again at 23? The way I see the board falling, there could be more value at corner for them, also a position of need, than edge. So, is that where Caleb Farley with the medicals, if a couple teams pass on him who have a corner need, is that where the Jets say we're going to do it? But, and Azeez Ojulari, someone like that could make sense as well. Jacksonville, I hear a lot of buzz about, this is not a great defensive lineman draft, but Christian Barmore, I know Jacksonville's done a lot of work on him. He's kind of a boomer bust guy. Greg Rousseau, does he end up playing a little more inside than outside at the NFL level? Those are a couple names I've heard connected to the Jags when they pick again at 25.
All right, Jason La Canfora, we are hours away from the NFL draft. Jason, certainly appreciate it as always. And check out the Pick Six podcast to have you covered for everything related to the draft. By the way, those 2 extra picks for both the Jets and the Jags, Jacksonville got it in the Jalen Ramsey trade from the Rams, and the Jets got, of course, the Jamal Adams trade there from Seattle. Download and follow the Pick Six podcast with host Will Brinson today.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.